Okay, so I filled up these gems. I managed to eke out enough of the green to make one of these little ball and chain. Fill one of those molds and hit everything again with the torch. Quick one, quick boop. Hit each one of those really quick. These molds, I will tell you, I sprayed with a silicone spray because when I started doing this a few months ago, I bought all these molds at Michael's and on Amazon and so forth. Some have lasted better than others. These have lasted pretty good, but I have had some tray molds that I was making trays that ended up like this because I never used any kind of mold release. And so by about the 6th, 7th, 8th time I was using some of these molds, I couldn't get the piece out. So not the whole piece, most of it comes out, but then you'll get an edge or something that sticks and it just rips the mold. So I'm getting more disciplined about taking better care of my molds, and I sprayed these with this silicone spray. The first time, they jumped out. It was amazing. So I'm kind of a believer in that now. So this is what I was going to show you that I do about stacking these. It's just a dumb little tip, but you know, you always want to cover your resin so that you don't get dust in them as they're curing. So these sit up pretty high because they're a coaster mold. Whoops, as I dump out the, that was dumb. That was like the old joke, what time is it when you're holding a glass of water? So I just stack them up on top of each other like this, and then they don't take up a lot of room. They protect each other. And that's terrific, actually. So these go over here. I usually put a little cover on the top one, which I will do. Keep the top one dust free. Now that's a little tricky because I don't really have the right top, but I'll do it like this for now, and then I'll put something tall on it later. These guys are okay. I have a little shim under to keep them flat. These guys are okay. These guys are okay. Cover them all with that. Okay, so now back to the pink. So I have this white left over. I'm going to add some pink mica powder. Where is my pink? I have my favorite pink. Oh, nuts! Look what I just did. Broke my tiny spoon. Luckily it comes with two. Comes with a second one. Hi, that's a bummer. This is my favorite pink. It's actually called peach. I don't know why. I don't think that this looks peachy. Doesn't look very peachy to me, but it's pink and it's very pretty. So I'm not going to need a lot of this because this is a tiny amount of resin that I'm using. So I'm going to just barely get some in here. Put it in. And I use baby wipes, clean off my stir stick, and let's see how this gets. Let's see if I can kind of match my pink that I was doing before. You know, you get some colors you like. I know if you really get into this, you might keep a log. I was thinking I should when I make some, I should keep track of my measurements, make a dot of resin on the edge of one of my molds and keep that little dollop and stick it keep it all in a book. Artists don't always feel also like scientists. So I'm not great about that aspect. Okay, so this is maybe a little too pale. It doesn't look quite as pink as the other one was. So I think I'll just add a drop more pink. Now this is like the old mom haircut situation where you can get easily out of control, but I will just, that's probably double, but let's see. It doesn't go too far. I mean, it's pink to begin with, so it's not going to get crazy. It's never going to turn into this. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to stick with that. Okay, and I'm going to, I really want to make another one of these faceted bracelets, but I don't have enough to do that and this. So I think I'm going to do the faceted one today. Not like I can't pour some more resin, make some more resin and do some more. But I'll show you how this one works. The nice thing about this mold is it comes all the way up and around. This one, you end up with a straight edge. The bottom is straight. You know, the bracelet has straight edges. This one has nice, soft, curved edges. And the bottom of the mold comes out like this with a nice, tiny little flat edge. The problem is the top of these, when they're open, you get this funky edge on the side that you pour. This mold comes around, so it's really trying to cradle as much, give you as much of that form as you can get. And like I said, when you get done, you can fill that in with more of this resin, you know, use something, you'd have to use a spoon this big to get it in there. You can dip a toothpick and just dollop it in and try to get it level and let it set. But this was the first one I made, so I'm gonna see, and I kind of chickened out. I didn't go all the way up to the top. I'm gonna go all the way up to the top with this one. And, you know, if you get a little extra, then you can file that off at the end. I think I'm better off with more that I have to file and polish than not enough that you have to fill. 6 to 1, half dozen the other, maybe, but now there's quite a bit of bubbles in here right now, and since this is a closed mold, this is really hard to torch after the fact. So I'm gonna just torch a tiny bit on the top of my cup. I tend to sort of tap it, help it degas a little bit, gets a few more bubbles to the top. Torch it again before I pour it. I'm just trying to eliminate as much of the bubbles, air bubbles, as I can. And then I'm going to pour it really slowly, which also won't add any more bubbles. Yeah, it's still bubbly. I don't know if this is dangerous, but I'm going to just try to, I don't want to melt my cup, but I'm just torching it a little bit more. Okay, so what I do for this, and this is tricky because you're wearing the gloves, and I have nails, so my gloves don't fit tight. I'm gonna just try to hold it down a little bit, hold it open a little bit. This is what I did yesterday, making this one, and I poured a quarter around, and that seemed to help me be able to see what I'm doing. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pour in here because I don't want to get resin everywhere, although I'm going to fill this all the way to the top, so maybe it doesn't matter. Okay, that's good. It's moving around a little bit, but this just lets me space it out. Okay. This mica powder is so pretty, this pearlescent. Okay, so now it's all the way around in there.